Hello, everybody. So we are in the sixth episode of Space Talk, and today we are going to discuss about absolutely a trending thing. Till now, the topics we are discussing, those are not trending; those are for very selective people, right? But today, what we are talking about, everybody in the technology world is talking about, that is data science, machine learning, deep learning. How these things are going to work together, why we really need those things, how they are solving real life problems. So we are going to discuss things, and we are going to learn from the best people. At least in my network, I have known about different innovators, but the best one who really not only innovating, as well as he is distributing the knowledge through teaching people, doing lectures in different countries, and the lifestyle Subhashaji sir used to live, that's very envious to many people who are into innovation field, right? So you are innovating, you are going to different countries, you are talking with people, you are showing whatever you have created, you are papers. So this kind of lifestyle is a dream lifestyle for all the innovators around the globe. So that's the lifestyle is getting maintained by Shobhasati sir. So thank you so much. We are going to welcome Mr. Sabyasachi Mukhopadhyay sir for coming to the show and giving us 1 hour. That's very precious to him and as well as to us, because it's going to be very much interesting for all the people, right? So I am going to give a brief description about Sabyasachi sir. Though sir don't need a description, everybody in the innovation world know about sir. So Subhajit sir is the Kolkata lead of Facebook Developer Circle, Google Developer Expert in Machine Learning, and Intel Software Innovator. So it's a proud for all the Bengali people, all the people from West Bengal, that all the big organizations sir has already worked with, who is based in this world. He's the faculty of Business Analytics in PG Management Studies at BIMS Kolkata, MacAut College, and visiting faculty at Symbiosis Center of Information Technology, SCIT in Pune. That's a deemed university. And Sir has completed MS in Physical Science from IISER Kolkata, and was the topper of the batch. And he's the course curriculum developer, paper setter, examiner, and moderator of and SCIT Pune. You know how much important Sir is right now from this line only. And he was the co-founder. He's the co-founder and the chief research officer of Covalent Medical Medtech Private Limited, and currently involved in startup mentoring activities. And so that's something Sir has done incredible. And I hope everybody is going to enjoy this session and get lots from Sir. So I am really thankful to sir to give us the time. So the stage is yours, sir.
Pleasure is entirely
I
mine.
proper introduction, and if there is any error, so just
No, no. Absolutely fine. Thanks for your generous introduction. And definitely today's topic is one of the most buzzword data science, machine learning, deep learning in the era of industry 4.0 as well as in web 2.0. So basically the students who are listening, you all know that the World Wide Web has evolved in 1994, and we have entered in the era of web 1.0. So gradually in that scenario, what people used to just serve the certain topics in Google, and they used to get answers. They gradually started the habit of using emails and all. But you see, in the 2004 era, you all aware that there is the advent of Facebook developed by Mark Zuckerberg, and also you know that there were another social media very popular was Orkut. But gradually, what happened? Due to popularity of Facebook, they become ubiquitous in everywhere, and we get a lot of amount of the unstructured data in the form of image, videos, and text. So the era of Web 2.0 started, and you know that how much popular nowadays Twitter regarding in terms of the sentiment analysis. For example, this is one of the very important methodology in the data science domain to extract the people emotions. Also, there are other professional network sites like LinkedIn. So, due to the immense amount of the use of the unstructured data nowadays, you can understand that in Web 2.0 scenarios, the database is nowadays expanding in exponential growth. Okay, and due to that, we came up into the concept like the big data also. So data science basically is depending upon the machine learning, data mining, and big data. And why the terminology has big data coined up. Now you see there is no particular threshold. Okay, so Arijit has taken a very, very great topic in this domain, that this is going to be very interesting, because I have seen whenever I have, whether it is in India and abroad, people often ask me that what is the threshold limit of big data? Can we call it this mind of petabyte or this mind of gigabyte is a big data? Actually, you need to understand that there is no threshold, because due to exponential growth, whatever the data you are experiencing today, for example, it is 23rd September. After 10 days, when you go to 2nd October or 3rd October, the expansion of the database will be so much due to exponential growth. You will say, oh my God, whatever I have experienced in 23rd September, it is nothing in front of it. So that's why there are three features we basically talk about. One is the velocity, another one is the variety, another one is the volume. So these three V's are the main features which are being used for the explanation of the big data: velocity, variety, and volume. Okay, so volume thing is quite understandable, and to deal with the velocity, because due to the exponential growth, it is not the job of the traditional databases. So students who are in the engineering background, in BTech background, you might be aware of the relation databases. Okay, basically in a simpler concept, we store data in a tabular format, right? So we are also aware of the SQL, okay, structured query languages, to deal with those relation databases and all. But due to the exponential growth, we require some schemaless approach. Okay, some flexibility is required in terms of the databases. So due to there is huge popularity of the big data, and there is so much use of the unstructured and more precisely, if we can say, semi-structured data set, because nowadays whatever the approach we are making, it's basically a combination of the structured and semi-structured, structured and unstructured. Okay, so there can be a tabular format, but along with the tabular format of the data, you have the options like as texts, okay, images, videos. And nowadays you see most of the data in social media, in web 2.0, due to the expansion of the social media, 75 percentage of the data belongs to your belongs 75 to 80% of the data belongs to your video as well as images. Okay, rest of the 20% goes to text and other kind of stuff. So you can understand that how the database is expanding, and due to that there is a huge demand of the big data experts. Okay, and due to that, no SQL databases, not only SQL databases, are in the huge demand. You have heard about the MongoDB, you may hear about the Cassandra. Okay, you
Postgres
may hear
there.
about exactly. You may hear about the graph databases. Graph databases, Neo4j is one of the most premier
Yeah,
company in the
yeah.
graph database domain. Facebook is using graph databases. LinkedIn is using graph databases. So these are the new job opportunities as well as the new area where startups can also focus on. Okay, so nowadays schemaless approach has become a huge popularity in terms of the all the data driven company. If you see, if you take care of the world's top 500 chart of the Fortune company, so the chart is starting from the Walmart. Okay, one of the most data giant company in terms of the stock data, and then gradually we all are aware that how Google is maintaining in top 20 positions across the globe.
Yeah.
Facebook is also in the top 70, 80 positions. So in this way, this data, because data is a new oil, we all know that, and to extract the right information from the data is one of the most prominent weapon to get success in the business, because there will be no clerical jobs now in the near future. So intellectuality and intellectual driven applications is going to stay. And that's why not only in case of the BSc, BTech, MTech, or MSc programs, there are new programs are being launched. Few people are directly naming as the BBA in data science, MBA in data science also. They do to BBA to be in it's more specific. People are coining the terms like data business analytics BBA program, business analytics and MBA program. India and across the globe, these programs has also got the huge popularity, because it is not only the application of the data is not only limited to the technology people, but also the management people in every domain. Nowadays, you know that the AI is being used for the hiring purpose. So in the HR domain,
Exactly.
the
So wherever there is decision making, we can use a ML, data science, and where there is data,
absolutely,
we can predict the future
absolutely.
with it.
Absolutely, because nowadays Arijit also knows that the very one of the good example is that nowadays you can see the AI monitored exams are going on in online exams are
Exactly.
going on for the hiring
AI
purpose. AI
procurement and yeah,
Exactly. So all the HR operations has been covered by the AI based applications. And one point I
exactly.
want to mention, like Origin might remember that when I visited physically in Thinking and Lab, they are doing excellent job. So when I was interacting
Yeah,
with them, I was discussing about the robotic process auto prospect regarding the robotic process automation (RPA), because you see in
yeah,
2018, as per the survey made by Tata Consultancy Service, so basically they require 3 lakh people in India, because they got the project from Japan, and they require 3 lakh projects from India to do these automated stuffs. So remember that this robot is not a physical robot, this is a software robot who can do these
exactly.
superhuman activities, superhuman task. For example, doing 20,000 email a day, okay, rigorous Excel sheet work. So they, which are mainly human can make errors, but these software robots can do the superhuman activity task within a very lesser period of time with higher precisions. Okay, so they found that there are only 250 people across India who are actually aware about the robotic process automation. So you can understand the job demand is 3 lakh people. Only 250 people across the India only know about this particular stuff. And according to
Yeah,
report of the Hindu, by 2021 there will be more 2 lakh job demand in this particular domain. And what is the knowledge is required? The basic knowledge of automation and AI. So you can understand that although the new jobs are there, the like Arijit and me was discussing during it may be I think February 2019. So that there is a enormous amount of the job opportunities, but what is happening that there is a huge gap between the your what we are learning in the academic curriculum and what is the requirement in the industry. And that's why nowadays government is also trying to make a lot of initiatives to bring the industry academic collaborations
exactly.
to make
So I
renovations in
personally
of the
say in
academic
all my
syllabus.
talks and all those places to students that there is no unemployment. It's the problem is unemployability. There are requirements, people are not studying those
Exactly.
fields, not having expertise and skill on those fields. So that's why they're not getting the job because job is there.
Absolutely.
Because if I talk about data science, 700 people are creating
Exactly.
data. Everybody is creating millions of data, and if we need to analyze those
Exactly.
data and come up with different analytics, different decision making, we need lots of people to work on that field. But people are
Absolutely.
studying the backdated things, backdated way, and they are not getting skilled in the demand world. So that's the problem. Yeah,
Absolutely. Because you see, the world is moving in very much fast. So we have to be adapt with those speed, and that's why there is so much emphasis on the MOOCs, massive online open courses, such that you can upgrade, you can upskill yourself. For example, nowadays even Google is providing that training on Coursera courses to during these lockdown periods to their employee regarding the upskillment purpose. For example, TCS was providing the Udemy courses resources towards their employees such that they can make upskill themselves. So there are various ways to upskill yourself. So always be curious among you. Be curious and try to learn what are the new things are going on, because whoever even in the placed in the industry, you can see on an average 5 year period of time the new skill setups are evolving. Okay, for example, if we consider the example of robotic process automation, it was earlier business process automation in 2014. Even
exactly.
till 2014 was a huge demand, but if you see 4 and 5 years gap, 2018 period of time, the robotic process automation came up. And now you see in the institution of robotic process automation, they are also developing completely AI based solutions, that is intelligence process automation, which is going to come up in 2024 by 2025. So you can see in every 5 6 year period of time the new methodologies, new terminologies are coming up. So earlier days of the during the advent of the your web 2.2, when that the concept arrived, we started with weak AI. That means the application of AI is become the domain specific. But now people nowadays are going for the ubiquitous AI with more flexible to give the machine intelligence tasks. and we are nowadays gradually focusing on the strong AI. And one of those examples you may have seen during one of the case, for example, you all are aware of the Alexa, Siri. So these are the good steps to build the strong AI. And obviously in the industry domain, people, it maybe you are from the BTech background or MBA background, whatever maybe. So this robotic process automation is going to be evolved as the intelligence process automation. So that's why continuous upskilling is required when if you, even if you're an employee, even if you're doing startup, or even if you're a student, because and that's why a lot of steps are being taken to bridge the gap between this academic and industrial phenomena. And for example, Thinking and Lab has done a lot of, I can remember that in last 1 year they have done a lot of interesting workshops, okay, right from the hardcore coding to develop physical robots and all, and they have developed one of the fantastic robot. I remember that is Annapurna, if I am not wrong. So so
Yeah,
so
absolutely, sir.
that is
Absolutely.
that is the way actually we should focus on, because you have to care, not only the moves, but you have to be careful about what is going on in your tech communities. Okay, what are the new startups are coming up, what they are actually trying to put the emphasis. Okay, so in this way you can develop yourself, because there are certain areas you may want to build your career in terms of technology. You may want to come up or to provide support in the management domain. But remember that in management domain also, it is completely based on the analytics. Okay, nowadays I told you that the structural part, because the operational part has been automated. So you have the job related to the structural part where your intellectual contribution you can make. So this structural part
Exactly.
you can contribute through the analytics. Okay, now business analytics has
Yeah.
a vast amount of application. You can contribute in supply chain domain. Okay, supply chain management domain, like I told you that SAP is one of the most prominent tool in this domain. Last 15 years they are holding the
Yeah.
number one position in this domain. Okay, you can contribute in terms of the finance and analytics domain. You can contribute in marketing domain. In marketing nowadays it is more about digital marketing mostly. Now there are areas in the HR analytics, HR metrics and analytics. So there is a huge opportunity. Okay, because whether you may go for the technological aspect or whether you may go for the management aspect, so there is a huge opportunity, because it's all about data. And because nowadays no job is being done with pen and paper. Try to understand in a simple language that as we are not using pen and paper based recording, so what we are doing, we are basically using the digital database to store the data. And I already mentioned that there are one is the traditional approach is the relation databases, but nowadays there is no scope of relation database due to exponential growth of the data, and you require some flexibility, because the relation database has a rigidity in terms of the schema. But whereas in the NoSQL based approach, if you go for the graph databases or the MongoDB, Cassandra, if you use, these are the schemaless approach, and you have the humongous amount of the opportunity to explore the big data. Okay, so you can see that in every aspect, whether it is healthcare domain, whether it's agriculture, and whether it is weather data in space science, everywhere you can see there is a huge opportunity of growth in terms of the data. And Arijit was discussing that regarding this kind of data, the students who are enthusiastic about the data, what the mistake they do, they basically directly started. Nowadays there is a big buzzword is a deep learning. So they direct go towards deep learning without understanding the basic aspects of the statistics, basic aspects of the linear algebra, and they directly start from the deep learning. So they try to make a huge jump. And what the problem is being created due to this, if, for example, students who are appearing for the job interviews in companies, Arijit also know that because he also had the people for his own company. So in some cases we found that they are they are, for example, they are doing complicated problem, it's fine, it is well appreciable, but it is, you can't never expect that a student does not know basics of Python, or for example, they are lacking the basic concepts of statistics. Okay, so basics are always important. Nowadays you need to understand that, because the basics, for example, the students who are interested in the data science domain, so first of all you require to know the basic aspects of linear algebra, like eigenvector, eigenvalues. So these concepts are being used in case of the principal component analysis, which is the most prominent tool in case of the feature extraction purpose. Because you see, we do not deal with the whole data, We only choose the prominent part of the data which has the most effective information. So that's why we go for the feature extraction and dimensionality reduction, okay, such that we can use the database more effectively, okay, in terms of storing purpose and analyzing purpose. So then we go for, after doing the feature extraction, we go for deploying the machine learning algorithms. It may be support vector machine, it may be hidden Markov model. Now if you go for the Bayesian model, so that's why a little bit of understanding of the probability is also required in terms of the Bayes theorem, okay, conditional probability, okay. So because due to the mostly likelihood method, this kind of the method like hidden Markov model predicts, for example, Monday was sunny day, Tuesday was a rainy day, Wednesday was a cloudy day. What is the probability of raining in Thursday? So in this way we develop. Same thing is applicable for the stock market scenario. So we basically use the past and present data to predict the future. So this is a common thing in terms of the analytics domain. And nowadays people, in general, analytics is categorized in a three categories, basically: descriptive method, predictive method, and prescriptive. Now actually earlier days, in before 2010, people are mostly classified analytics into descriptive and predictive. But what the problem is arising, let me tell you, that descriptive, for example, you want to start a new business, okay, you want to start a new business on life boy soap. So what happens, people in the data discover, there are several steps to start up your new business, okay. So first of all, you have to do the case study, okay. So during the case study, what you do, you evaluate the past data, past performances, that how the other companies have got the success this particular domain, what are the approaches they have made. So once you do this procedure through the analytics, analyzing the past data, okay, and you are checking the trend, okay, whether this product has a demand in the market or not. So once you have checked the last 20 years, 50 years of data, okay, so this particular product has a demand in the market, then let's decide, let's jump on this particular field. So they do the resource mapping, okay. So resource mapping is not only about the skills in your organizations, it also about the technological resources available. So resource mapping is very important. So actually the whole industry works in a skill matrix matching basis. For example, Arijit is doing a job in a fantastic team. So for example, Arijit is very strong in programming, somebody in his team is very strong in marketing, somebody is very strong in his team in app development. So these three people or four people can come together with a different skill setup and may make a fantastic team in terms of creating impact on the billions of lives. So this is how the things goes on. So skill matrix matching across the globe, you see the top organizations like Google, Walmart, they also work in the skill matrix matching basis. If you see the top academic institutes like MIT, Harvard, Stanford, they also work in a skill matrix matching basis, because you may know multiple things, that's fine, but there should be one dominant skill. For example, you know AI, IoT both very well, but you have, whenever you are going for a job, you either your dominant skill will be AI or IoT, and another skill will be supportive. The other things will be supportive. Okay, and people you may be multidimensional, you may be one dimensional in terms of the knowledge, but whatever you know, I mean, as per your JD requirement, job description requirement, that should be optimum. That skill should be optimum. There should not be any kind of compromise should be there. Okay, so you require to understand that, because nowadays I can see student want to get expertise on everything. It is not possible nowadays. None of us are Aristotle. Those days are gone, because it's an era of expertization. But it is good if you know the other stuffs as well. But first of all, make a skill on a particular domain. If you are interested in data science, so be strong from A to Z of data science.
So
Then
we
if
can
you
say
get
you
time,
have multiple good skills, but you have to have one best skill.
one dominant skill. So you must have to know A to Z of data science. Then if you get time, okay, if you, for example, whatever the job is you are doing, if for that purpose required for you, maybe it may be for your self-learning purpose, you can develop other skills also. You may go for IoT and all those stuff. There is no problem regarding that. There is no end of learning. But to to stay in industry, you have to be strong in, you have to be strong enough in one particular skill setup. Then gradually you may expand, and with the experiences, and if you are eager about continuous learning and upskilling, as I'm mentioning the term repeatedly, upskilling is one of the HR trends. Okay, nowadays the HR, let me tell you, HR is also looking for those kind of persons. When they take the personal interview, one of the parameter is being set. For example, nowadays you might be aware the AI-based robot conducts the interviews in most of the cases in top organizations. So one of the features are inserted in that particular algorithm is the tendency of continuous upskilling. Okay, so there is a no zone of comfort. Learning should be a pleasure, you see. As I told
Exactly.
you that 2014 it was business process automation, in 1819 era it was robotic process automation, in 2425 it will be intelligence process automation. So the domain is remaining same, but the skills but you can see there is accelerating in terms of this upskilling. Okay, the
Exactly.
institutes, the R&D section, they are always developing the new methodologies, new tools in terms of the upliftment of the business and making innovations towards the blessings of human life. Okay, so you have to take care of that. Okay, so
Yeah.
one of the most important thing what the youngsters I want to tell them that build your mentality, that to learn new things, to curious about new things, but
So
stay
there is a
focused.
there is a very relevant question to many people, and many people asked me. I have answered in my own way. I hope you will answer in more better way. That where should they start data science? How they can start? When they can start? Is it a subject that can be converted into a STEM subject like robotics? We can teach in schools through STEM courses. Whether it can be possible for data science to be taught to school students,
Absolutely,
that
absolutely.
start, and how they can start, what can be their first project, what can be their first data sets, from where they can find the codes, or which language they should use. So what's the track from where they can start?
Exactly. So let me tell you one thing, that absolutely we can start from the schools, and you can see that in the new course curriculums in many places they are trying to start AI from class 8 curriculum. So basic thing, first of all, the theoretical aspect, the basic things they require to know is the basic aspects of statistics. Okay, and then definitely they have to know little bit of linear algebra, like eigenvalue, eigenvectors, that can be deployable in terms of the advanced mathematical courses. Then gradually what they need to learn, they need to start from the Python. But before starting Python, the idea what the US universities has got, US schools in schools in US also got this success, is to base the scratch based approach. So what is the scratch based approach, what they are making? Because earlier there was a debate to whether to start with JavaScript or Scratch, because JavaScript people find is very easy, so they has a common tendency to start with JavaScript. But gradually, as per the research in terms of the made by the MIT, they came up that it is always better to start with the Scratch base, because Scratch helps you to build your algorithmic sense. Okay, because what the particular thing will come faster, what the thing will come next. So hierarchical pattern, being building
Logic
the logic
building
in terms of
mentality,
the
they
hierarchical.
build logic capabilities.
Exactly. And then sequentially to make the what should come next, and what are the steps we should do, the initial stages. So this kind of the logic sequencing can be grown up with the help of Scratch. So in Indian academic scenario, which has been the new infrastructure, academic infrastructure, which has been announced in last month. So they are also planning in the same way to first of all introduce Scratch. Okay, then gradually introduce Python, basic operations of Python, because you see nowadays, whatever the AI based platforms, data science based platform, you can see everything is highly Pythonic, whether it is Keras, whether
Yeah,
it is TensorFlow, whether it is PyTorch, everything is Pythonic. So if you know Python, you can easily adapt it. And obviously, if
absolutely.
you
And
want
if
to
you know
stay,
Python, you can get into any fields, not only AIML
absolutely,
development.
there
So
are other, absolutely.
Python is a very general purpose language. That's the most beautiful stuff.
Exactly, absolutely fine, because Python has a very much diversified applications. And as I am talking about data science, so I am telling about the data science aspect, but it has a
Yeah,
versatile approaches. And you know that nowadays we store data in cloud. Okay, so basically, and the analysis perspective is also goes on in cloud. So cloud communicating languages, Python and Java. These two are basically cloud communicating languages. So as Python has all the machine learning and deep learning frameworks are highly Pythonic. So Python is one of the primitive stage. In your primitive stage of learning, you should give emphasis on Python. So it is quite deployable because we have seen several curriculums where students are doing, class 6, 7 students are doing pretty well in Python. So they can easily adapt gradually with AI in the school level, and the basic level of they can start with the detecting the cats and dogs problems. For example, 10 images of animals are given there. So can you predict the faces of cats? Or there are a bunch of fruits images are there. Through an algorithm, can you predict the apples and all? So these are the basic things. And to remember that, to learn that, you must be aware about the regression concept. Okay, and regression concept like linear regression, logistic regression. Okay, what is categorical variable? For example, whether it is apple or not. So your answer will be yes or no, true or false, 1 or 0. So these are the categorical approach. So but for the linear regression, we go with the continuous variables. For example, your speed of car and mileage is linearly related. Okay, so what is linear relation, what is non-linear relation? So gradually you have to start in this way. First of all, you have to make your statistical understanding very strong, and with the scratch, I believe your algorithmic sense will grow up, because it's not only about the predicting accuracy, but it also about your the thing is that time complexity. Okay, so to deal with the time complexity, you must have to be aware about the data structure. Okay, so data structure builds your conceptuality very strong in terms of the dealing with those complex scenarios, how you can reduce the time complex. So why I am telling so, because before the initiation of our this particular talk, I and Arijit was discussing about the future related to edge computing and fog computing. So basically, you see, nowadays there is a huge load on cloud. So from your common sense, you can understand that if the load increases, there will be congestions, and due to congestions, there will be latencies. So due to latency, what will happen? The latency will create effect on your real time scenarios. Okay, for example, whenever you are transferring money or you are doing the online transactions nowadays, you can see in the pandemic scenario, we all are doing the e-commerce transactions. Okay, so in that case, if any fraudulence activity happen, which is in as per the experts, the chances of fraudulence activity is 0.5% to 2%, but there are chances. So if the fraudulent activity happens, then what will happen? How can you detect them in real time? In healthcare scenarios, for example, you want to detect mobile phone based cancer detections, you want to do the mobile phone based applications in terms of diabetic retinopathy detection. So how you can do that in the healthcare domain, in the banking domain, everywhere you require the real time analytics. So there are another approach where we can use the low processors of your devices, like mobile phone. You can even do the computation with certain kind of tricky algorithms from your mobile phone as well. You all know that convolutional neural network. I am not going to any high level. I want to just mention the few names to give
Yeah,
you the
yeah.
holistic approach. For example, you all know the CNN. Okay, convolutional neural network is very popular tool in deep learning. But to deploy them in as a edge computing basis approach in your mobile phone based approach, we go for the depth-wise separable CNN. So how this tricky algorithm is reducing the computational load? So you all are aware about the matrix structure, right? So a matrix, for example, in row, for example, in first row ABC, in second row DF. In this way, we are storing the data. So if you are writing a code in terms of the accessing, for example, n by n images. So we go for the nested for loop, like for I equals to 1 to n, for j equals to 1 to n. In this way, we go for the nested for loop. Now, due to using the nested for loop, what is happening? Your order of complexity is increasing. Order of complexity in this case will be order of n square. But if we can vectorize them, now you see, again we are going towards the concept of the linear algebra. We are calling this vectorization. That means unfolding the matrix in terms of doing the vectorization. So okay, either you can concatenate it horizontally or you can concatenate it vertically. Okay, so what will happen? A B C D E F in this way. So then order of complexity, now you can see it is reducing from order of n square to order of n. So that is the
Exactly.
trick. That is the trick. That is the trick you should learn from data structure. The data structure give you that much of sense that how you can deal with the tricky algorithms and how you
That's
can
why
reduce the
we
time.
use GPU rather than CPU for the data science and data mining stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So these are the ways you can these are the tricky algorithmic ways you can actually deploy the complex algorithms in your low processor device like mobile phone, and you can take the benefit of the edge computing. That what it is doing, it is basically reducing the computational load from the cloud. You can do the trivial computational stuffs through your edge computing devices, where you can deal the complicated stuffs in your cloud. So there are several ways of load scheduling and load reducing. So you can understand that we require the concept of statistics, we require the concept of probability. I am not telling you to be a statistician, but at least to understand the basic aspects of statistics, basic aspects of probability. Okay, then
Exactly.
then we are going towards the linear understanding of the what is eigenvalue, eigenvectors. Then we can gradually move towards the pure Python, because all the machine learning, deep learning frameworks are highly Pythonic: Keras, TensorFlow, PyTorch. So gradually in this way you can move on. And another thing I am telling you, that if you are planning to build your career as a data scientist or data analyst, so you can go for R. R is one of the popular statistical processing language. Okay, for example, even people who are doing the MBA in data science or business analytics, they are also using R. It's a very very popular tool in terms of the analyzing the statistical data. So basically, why R is so much popular? Because in 1991, if you see, whatever the languages has developed earlier days, if you see in 1970s, it was mostly commercial version of languages are available. Okay, nowadays, although those commercial virtual languages are providing few free packages for the university students and professors in order to deploy their academic course curriculums, but mainly open source. Not only free, but remember that open source, such that developer can contribute in the source code. Okay, so open source concept has arisen from 1990s. Okay, in 1991, the first concept of R was developed by Ross Yahaka and Robert Gentleman. So R of Ross and R of Robert, due to the common name, in the R was a common character between the initialization of what their name. So due to honor them, the language has been named as R. So from that language has started, the historical journey of the R has started. It is launched in 2000, the first commercial version, and it gradually become the most popular software by overshadowing SPSS and SAS. So gradually, R has got a huge popularity. So nowadays, the Python is one of the popular aspect you can talk about, and another one is the R. Okay, and obviously there are certain limitations of R, because it was not capable of doing stuffs with the big data. But there are huge amount of the research is going on, and by 2022, R will also become a very very one of the most strong tool to tackle with the big data as well. So my
Yeah.
objective is that nowadays we are going on a phase which is the open source and free softwares. So you can download any of these softwares from easily from the online. Okay, you can easily do the coding. Okay, for example, Python, even you can use the virtual platform provided by Google Colab. Okay, so you can use the
Yeah.
virtual GPU, the help of virtual GPU. You can deploy any kind of any kind of ML DL related algorithms there. You can solve the easy to complex problems there. There is no barrier of learning. So there is enormous amount of the opportunity, and this kind of the project has come up under the GNU free license. So basically, what
Yeah.
the GNU free license, one of the most developed popular software is your R. So basically, this is the free public license. This is under the free public license, FPL. Okay, all those coding opportunities are available, and that's why nowadays Linux family got this so much popularity. We talk about Ubuntu, we talk about Red Hat. So there is no provision regarding, for example, if you go by Windows operating system, it's fine. If you go by the Linux, it is also fine. But due to this GNU free license projects, this Linux family also evolved. Okay, so you can see that the way we used to code during 1970s, people used to code during 1970s, it is not the same in 2020. So we are gradually, the programming languages are becoming ubiquitous, because of the need of the common people. Because you need to understand that that nowadays we are not storing data with pen and paper, we are storing data digitally. So it is become a mandatory right from everyone that you should learn little bit of coding. Okay, everybody will not become the developer, absolutely, I can understand.
So,
But
sir, in this regard, I want to say that learning coding is important for each and everybody who is living in this earth and making decisions that will enhance the decision making power. So that's absolutely true. We all are programmer because we are taking decisions in our life every time, and our programming language is logic. So that's absolutely fine. But the thing for this space app challenge or for immediate hackathons and all those stuff, people are not having that much time to go and learn programming languages and all those stuff. So as far as I know, and as I teach to people, that we can use Excel for doing little bit of at least a very good amount of data science works or something like that. So how people can use Excel for the same purpose?
okay, so excellent question. That those who are not much have the explorations in terms of those kind of softwares. So Excel plays a very pivotal role in terms of the data science operation on certain extent. So basically, through the Excel, you can do the data visualization as well, because the people, you need to aware that in
Exactly.
nowadays the I was talking about the business analytics in few minutes back. So business analytics has a two part. One is business intelligence and one is the advanced analytics. So our Python is good for the advanced analytics purpose. Now the business intelligence is one of the thing, which is whether you can think it as a management aspect or technological aspect. There are tools like data visualization purpose. So in data
Yeah.
visualization, there are most popular, although the most popular tool is Tableau, but you can do the data visualization stuffs in your with your Excel as well. You can make the data entry in spreadsheet. Now wherever the database is in generally, because your database in generally looks like a spreadsheet structure if you consider the traditional aspect. Okay, so you can make the data entry there. You can do the data visualization. There are a lot of options if you are using the 2013 onward version. So you can see there are ample amount of the options will be available. You can do the bar plot, you can do the pie chart. So excellent amount of the opportunities is there. And also, as well as with the Excel bar, you can write your own formula, and you can do the forecasting stuffs. So that's the thing, because Excel is a we call it as advanced Excel. We call it is as
Yeah.
advanced
Yeah.
Excel,
Yeah.
because in advanced Excel you can see the marketing people, when there was not so much awareness in the this kind of programming language, even in the management domain as well. Then people from the statistics background, economics background, management, they have run the business successfully by using Excel. So they're doing the
Even there are
complicated
still
stuff.
few people who are running whole software in Excel till now. They
Excel,
are
yes,
creating
absolutely.
charts and putting the data over there. It's
And
getting reflected in the graph chart, so it happens.
it,
They can create
it,
a whole dashboard in a Excel.
exactly. Exactly. So once you are dealing with the data, filling the Excel based entry, you may find that there are some missing values. So how to deal with those missing values? You can tackle the missing values in Excel. You can do the all the computation, I mean, to forecasting related stuff. That, for example, you are in a space apps related challenge, you may do the weather forecasting basis stuff. Okay, so basically in last 20 years you have seen this much of trend in weather data. So what will be the stuffs in next 5 years? So these kind of rigorous stuffs you can easily solve with some writing, some equations in your Excel bar, and you can check out the data through the data visualization, that what is the trend you can observe for the next 5 years. So that is what I was mentioning last few minutes back, that there are ways of analytics. One is the descriptive analytics, predictive and prescriptive. I mentioned you about that. If you want to check the trend of any past success of certain business, or past success of certain weather, I mean, sorry, past trend of certain weather of last 20 years. For example, you are making the weather forecasting of Bangalore. So you will see that in last 20 years it is mostly the average temperature will be there, mostly 30 degrees centigrade, 25 to 30 degrees centigrade. So you can see there is a tendency of the hot and humid. There are, I mean, hot and humid in most of the times. There is not much of cold you can experience in Bangalore. So you can, from that trend, you can predict the next 5 or 10 years of the weather. What can be the next 5-10 years trend of the possible trend of the weather. Because you remember that whenever you are doing the predictions, you can't use the term like must or will. There will be the terminology, perfect grammatical terminology will be
Probability.
maybe or might be, because this is the probabilistic. The more you do the better data modeling, the more you can predict the future in a more perfect way. In a similar way,
Yeah.
people do the weather forecasting of solar system as well. I mean, it's in a, for example, you know that the sun is itself a matter of research. Okay, what is going on, what kind of the solar storm is going on, in which frequency the solar storm is coming up. So the people are doing lot of data analytics regarding that. And most of the people, because you see, the nowadays those who are the established top scientists, their age is almost 50 to 55, they all basically go for the Excel based analytics. Okay, they also use
Yeah.
definitely SPSS, but they are very strong in Excel, and they are excelling in their career by using Excel. I must say, they're excelling in their career by using Excel.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
so there is a huge possibility. And Arijit, I will email you one of the one, my I have prepared the few PPTs on advanced Excel regarding data
Okay.
visualization computational purpose. So I will email you.
Okay.
What you can do, you can use those things to train your students. Okay, or
Sure,
whatever the
sir. We
training
are
you
having
have.
a workshop tomorrow, so I can send it to the people, and that will
Absolutely.
be very much to the people.
I
Thank
will
you
email
so
you
much
by
for it.
tonight. I will email you by tonight.
Yeah,
So
sure, sir.
what you
Sure.
do, because let me tell you one thing, that I really appreciate your view when you told me that, sir, we are also not only focusing on R Python, but we are also focusing on Excel. Because I have seen even
Yeah.
in engineering colleges, students are passing with BTech degrees and all, but they are lacking knowledge in Excel, which is not permissible. You see, Excel plays a very important role. Even if you become very strong in R Python, but that is fine. But along with that, please be strong
Even
in
if
advanced Excel.
sometimes what happens,
Mhm.
sometimes because we are not only into education is a part of thinking lab, it's a research lab, we are into research and development as well. So
Excel.
many times come with certain requirement of software, that we need this kind of software or CRM system for our business. Now even resources of software, so those people will build software, they are very much expensive. So when we are quoting a software, giving them a quote about a software, it's very higher, because we need to it takes lots of time. So if we see certain time that somebody is starting up with their business, or they are not running that much of business that they can pay for a software or something like that, what we do, we create them a software out of the Excel itself, that you can use this Excel, and we can charge a very less amount of money because we are doing in Excel, but you can use this template to organize the whole business. That's really works
Exactly.
very well
Exactly.
different manner. And when the people start earning the money, they again come back to us for the software, because we have given them something that they really can use.
Absolutely. Excel plays a very prominent role. Whether it is data visualization, whether it is doing the rigorous Excel sheet works and everything, you can do every. Even as I was telling that in analytics we can categorize it in a three ways: descriptive analytics, predictive, and prescriptive. So descriptive, predictive, prescriptive, every part of the analytics can be done in Excel. You can take a 20 years of customer
Exactly.
data, you can predict by writing some formulas in your Excel toolbar section, and you can easily predict that what will be the tendency in next 5 or 10 years, what will be the forecasting of the market in next 5 or 10 years. So whether it is space weather, whether it is about your stock market, every kind of task you can do in Excel. Okay, and I will definitely provide for the students you regarding this particular slide on advanced Excel.
Absolutely, sir.
So I
Absolutely.
hope
Even
that.
in our data science courses, we used to give them a 2 months mandatory class that they need to do projects on advanced Excel. Then
Absolutely.
only they can start the other data science aspects, learning the programming. That's because they
That
can
is
work on the data science mindset rather than doing the programming. So when they're learning the data science aspect, then they can go and program and do stuff in longer period of time.
absolutely. I personally strongly believe to start with the data science, Excel is one of the primitive stage. Excel is one of the
Yeah.
primitive stage to learn it, and I absolutely agree with you, and I appreciate your effort that you like you can say that this is a man ki baat. आपने मेरे मन की बात बोल डाली. So this is a fantastic piece of approach. Okay, and one thing I was mentioning that the how the fields are evolving. For example, from the predictive analytics, so another area which has been evolved, that is prescriptive analytics. Because you see, at the end of the day, the data science, AI, whatever we are talking about, it's all about to deploy the human cognition, human intelligence through computer medium. Okay, so through the computer platform. to enhance the intelligence, okay, the computational intelligence in terms of doing the complex tasks with more flawless and more in a more effective manner and more faster way. Okay, so predictive analytics, as I told you, that in the forecasting domain, whenever we do the forecasting, we can't say must or will. The appropriate word is may or might be. So what are the
Exactly.
precautions we may take? By the term prescriptive, you can understand there will be certain sort of precautions, okay, is being provided, that these are the chart. If you follow this kind of path, or this kind of the I mean this kind of the steps, you will achieve this much of percentage of benefit in next 5 years or 10 years, or this much of profit in next 5 years or 10 years. So along with the, not only the predictive analytics, it's all about the forecasting, but prescriptive analytics is not only about the forecasting, but to provide the guideline that if you follow this particular path, you may achieve this. That's it. So it reduces the risk of failing of your particular data model. Because you see, the whether it is the, if you discuss about the space weather, or our earth weather, or if you discuss about the stock market, every data every if you, these particular data sets are highly nonlinear and volatile. So there are enormous chances to make error. And that's
Yeah.
why the data scientists and statisticians have come up with 17 regression methodologies, which are nowadays available. But in generally, for a human being, it is not possible to know all those 17 analytical tools in a expert ways. So people who are the
Yeah.
top category of data scientists, they know 6 7 on an average 6 7 tools and methodologies. So for example, apart from your linear regression, logistic regression, or polynomial regression, there are other popular methodologies like lasso, okay, or support vector regression. You all know the support vector machine for classification. Support vector regression also plays the pivotal role. So in this way, there are 17 methodologies, and those who has a strong grip on data, because it's also about practice. The more you will deal with the data, the more you will come to know about the patterns and the shortcomings and loopholes in the data. So it will be your intuitions that which kind of the regression model fits perfectly with that particular data, and according to you go with that. Okay, so at the end of the day, it's all about practice in a smart way. But remember, we all have to
Yeah.
work hard, but in a
Yeah.
smart way.
So how people can
So
get data sets, from where they can get data sets?
okay, so data set, there are for example, there are enormous amount of the data is available. If you see the GitHub, Kaggle, you can easily download the data sets from there. So remember that it's more importantly, required to know in which domain you want to work. For example, in medical domain, if you want to work, if you want to, it's not only about research. If you want to develop the product in medical domain and all, for example, you can initially build your data model by having the online downloading data from GitHub and all. Okay, you can make your train your algorithm. You can check your initial testing with them. But at the end of the day, what is the difference between other domain and medical domain in specific way? Because at the end of the day, in the medical domain, it's if you are solving a complex problems like the early stage prediction of cancer, early stage prediction of diabetic retinopathy, and all those things, which are the major threats to human life. So you have to approach a particular specialist, I mean doctors. You have to tie up with hospitals, because the doctors are the ultimate decision makers in the medical domain. Even if the alpha testing and beta testing phase of your product validation, the doctor will make the ultimate judgment. So you have to convince doctor that your algorithm is
Yeah.
completely non-invasive to human, because you have to tie up with the IRB protocols with the hospitals, and there you have to clarify that you will maintain the patient's privacy. You will not disclose any private data to public. Secondly, and most importantly, your whatever the methodologies or tools you are using, that should be completely non-invasive to human body. Then you will get the permission of the medical trial, because at the end of the day, you have to deal with in vivo data to develop the product. So you have to take the live data, you have to analyze them, you have to justify that whatever the data model you have built with the in vitro data sets which are available in the GitHub or Kaggle, with the live data or in vivo data, can you justify those analysis or not? And then after the getting approval from the doctors in alpha beta testing phase, you can launch the product in market. So AI or data science in medical domain, they are playing a catalyst role. They are
Yeah.
helping to enhance the accuracy. They are helping to reduce the treatment cost. For example, biopsy, you have the accuracy level 65 to 70%, and it is huge costly, and it takes 2 weeks time to come up with the report. So if you can develop, for example, smartphone based early stage cancer prediction application, so it will, what it will do, it may get 90 to 95% accuracy. So you are enhancing the accuracy. You can get the generate the report within a few minutes of time, where biopsy is taking 2 weeks of time, and it will reduce your cost, because biopsy is highly costly. If we consider the developing country like India, we have 96% people under the bottom of pyramid category, or we call it BOP. Across the globe, it is 80%. So this percentage of people do not have enough money to pay tax. So you can understand, whether whatever may be our profession, we may be professor, we may be scientist, we may be an entrepreneur, whatever may be our profession, it is our social responsibility to come up with a solution as per our whatever the knowledge, limited knowledge we have. If we can contribute towards society with those kind of stuffs and tools, because data science, at the end of the day, we have to make technology towards the blessings of our society. So that should be the motivation behind our work. Okay. And if we
Yeah.
can create impact on the bottom of pyramid domain with a low cost based solution, for example, if you develop a smartphone based early stage cancer diagnostic app, okay, so you use this app as a software as a service model, SaaS model. So you can charge 10 to 100 rupees. If you charge 10 to 100 rupees per scan, still it is thousands times cheaper than the biopsy. So that's why your software tool is replacing the hardware tools with low cost based approach. And that's the reason why MIT in 2013 they have launched one motto, that softwares are the new hardwares. In
Yeah.
2017, the same motto has been adapted by the Infosys. That software is the new hardware. They just converted the plural to singular. So software is the new hardware. So basically, the methodology or the motto is that, the philosophy behind is that nowadays you don't carry wallet. It's not mandatory. You can use the payment gateway.
Yeah.
You can from your mobile phone app. You can use phone pay, Paytm, and you can do the transfer of the money to home, and you can spend the money. And you can also, earlier days people use optical fiber probe to capture the data regarding the cancer lesions of the skin cancer, oral cancer of the human body. Nowadays, through your mobile phone camera, you can do the same task or the same kind of job. So you are replacing the hardware, you are reducing the prototype development costing, okay, through your software platform, because which is very much required, because we have so much crunch of funding and all those things. We have so much limitations. So how you can reduce those kind of barriers? These all are the barriers of the of going of doing certain stuff of the innovations. Okay, so if you can remove those barriers with the software medium, and if you can come up with a low cost solution, it actually can create impact on the bottom of pyramid. And government of India has given it a fantastic name, low cost affordable healthcare domain. And it's not only about the healthcare and agriculture. In every domain we have several challenges. So young mind, young innovator should come up with their own confidences. Okay, that I should solve this particular challenge, I should solve that particular problem. In this way, our dream of making the perfect digital India can become a great success. Okay, and I believe that the young entrepreneurs like Arijit and others can create huge impact on the society, and we are really looking forward to that. And this space app challenge is one of the most important platform. I would invite all the young innovators, young people to join this particular platform and make it a grand success with your impactful solution. Okay, so I believe
Thank you so much,
that
sir. Thank
we
you so
have
much. It
covered
was
all the necessary.
absolutely, it's a fantastic session, and I hope those people who really wants to get into data science or machine learning, that will be really helpful for them. And thank you so much, everybody, for being with us, and so much enthusiasm to make this kind of events, this kind of talk shows, this kind of live events. That is really helpful for the society, because see, we can make these things private. We can have people for pay and come to these things, but at the day's end, yeah, being a business, we have to make money from the people who cannot learn by themselves. We are giving platform for self learners who can learn from the talks of different industry experts, get certain cue points, and they can find all the other things by their own self. So these talks are because of this kind of self-learning people, because we want a better society, and that can only be possible when we make the knowledge available to everybody, and they can get by their own expertise and own skills. So thank you so much for being with us, and we are having a important, super important event tomorrow, and I request everybody to join tomorrow's event, and you can see the speaker by tonight, and you can understand how much important that event is. And thank you so much, Sabyasachi sir, for giving such an insightful talk. I hope the presentation that will send us for the advanced Excel will be helpful for these people who are going to participate.
I'll do that. I will do that. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a fantastic time I spent with you. It's all about creating impact on the bottom of pyramid level and billions of lives. So let's make the technology towards the blessings of our society. So that's the thing I want. By saying that, I want to conclude my talk. So thank you very much. Stay happy, stay safe. Okay, during this pandemic scenario, take care of your family and friends. So I wish all the best.
Bye bye everybody.
Space up on 2020. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.